Basically, the ophthalmologists have the power to restore people's sight. And that's crucially important, not just for our patients' psychological well-being, but also, as it turns out from a study by the Blue Mountains investigators, for the prolongation of their life. They looked at survival rates for patients that underwent cataract surgery and those that didn't have the intervention. And after adjusting for lots of factors like age, sex, cardiovascular disease and so on, showed that there was a very strong trend, well, significant trend for longer life in the patients that had cataract surgery. Yeah, I think a lot of patients with reduced vision are almost invisible to large sections of society. I think that's a general aspect of the elderly feeling alone and being ignored, but certainly a lot of aspects of medicine sort of fail to take account of the fact that patients with visual impairments find it harder to do things. So travelling to the clinic or hospitals for other appointments, it becomes very challenging, and certainly people with visual impairment tend to be older, and so the issue of polypharmacy crops up. If you're of retirement age, you are likely to be receiving statins. You may be receiving prophylactic aspirin. If you have atrial fibrillation, you'll be on warfarin or one of the new factor Xa or thrombin inhibitors. And all of these drugs have different regimens, and so compliance with that's challenging enough as it is. It's even harder with impaired vision. So yeah, patients can be kind of invisible to society and harder for healthcare systems to deal with. I think you have to have both. Prolonging life is a wonderful thing to do, but if it's hell for the patient, then where's the value? If you can improve the quality of life during that period, then that's actually a wonderful thing. The patient benefits, the family benefits, society benefits, and so you really should try to do one and the other at the same time. Polypharmacy is a huge topic in geriatric medicine particularly, and it's because you need to take drugs. The reason people live so long is because they have drugs that prolong the survival, and certainly from my experience, my grandmother, my Romanian grandparent, is on umpteen number of drugs, and they all have different regimens, and she needs to follow those regimens to get maximal benefit, to keep her living for longer. And as I stated in the editorial, if she had visual impairment, it'd be incredibly difficult for her to follow these regimens. So yeah, to survive you need to take your drugs, and it's much easier if you can see better. So interventions by ophthalmologists to improve vision are actually very important in prolonging and improving these people's lives. I think it depends on who you ask. Elderly patients have friends, family that have visited ophthalmologists and have had procedures that improved their vision or have stopped the decline in vision will praise ophthalmologists to the end of this world. However, younger populations, maybe their experience with an ophthalmologist has been LASIK, and most people will have had a favourable experience, but it's not something that is generally talked about all of the time. It's not something that's focused on by younger populations, and so I think it's partly because younger people are not likely to sort of experience such life-changing benefits because they haven't had a cataract removed, because they haven't had their vision decline stopped. They don't really appreciate what these interventions can do for their lives because they're still young, they're still relatively healthy, and life is good. So I think there's two populations, and particularly the elderly, I think, do value ophthalmologists for what they can do, their superpowers, whereas those that haven't used the services yet don't realise what they're capable of. I liked Captain Planet because he had a cheesy theme tune. Alternatively, I was quite a fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as a child, but that shows me as a child of the 80s.